separation. So.
You may have to move.
That's okay. That's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. That's just a plug for Verizon. And so we cover everything, all the counties south of Lake of the Ozarks to the Arkansas border. And then about 2 years ago, we were asked by the National Hub to take in about 13 counties in northwest Arkansas because it would be easier for them to be served by our hub than up all the way down in Little Rock. So it just made a little more sense. So we're starting to branch down there with advertising and some trips. Some of the board members are making trips down there to talk to civic groups and anybody who will just listen or who has questions. And if they can get a group together, we'll gladly go down there and tell them about Honor Flight. It all started by two guys who saw that there were aging veterans, and they had never seen the memorials that were built in their honor. And so they started working out this plan to take some guys there and show them around Washington, D.C., give them the opportunity to be honored as veterans. And one thing led to another, and it kind of blossomed and grew to different hubs. Our particular hub in Springfield has been going now since 2013 was our first flight. And as of May, we have flown over 2,000 veterans to Washington to see these memorials. We take 81 veterans, 81 guardians, 8 medical staff, 8 volunteer staff, and 1 flight director, and once in a while, Patsy.
Yeah, she's over there.
Once in a while, Patsy gets to go, and she'll explain what this is all about in just a couple of minutes. But the word, as we try to get the word out, during COVID, even though COVID was a very, very trying time, it was kind of a good time for us as far as a nonprofit is concerned, because a lot of businesses didn't have the funds to advertise, and business was slow and things like that. So a couple of the TV stations took our nonprofit ads, and they were airing them more and more and more whenever they had a free spot there. Not a free spot, but a spot that was open that wasn't being paid for by a business who, couldn't afford that time slot. So we got a ton of extra advertising. And of course, being a nonprofit, they turn around and they use that as part of their time that they're required to give to nonprofits on an annual basis. So it helped us get the word out more and more and more. So like I said, we take 81 veterans. We start out with anyone who has, primarily we're going to say World War II, anyone who has served since World War II up to the present date. And we have qualifications such as age. If there's someone who is, let's say there's a medical condition that would prompt us to get them on a plane a little earlier rather than just put them in line, first come, first serve. But primarily it is a first come, first serve, but then it's by age. So those who have served in World War II, they're automatically going to be on the next flight. Someone who served in Korea, automatically on the next flight. We are working into the Vietnam era, which is kind of our era. And there we do watch for those who are having medical issues that their family expresses to us that maybe their time is coming close, and we want them to be honored, be able to go to the wall and see some of the other monuments. So, a typical flight. Well, yeah, right. I don't know if there is is a typical flight. But what we do is we start, in May, we were still working in October. Because we do 3 flights, like I said, out of Springfield. It's May, August, and October. We start getting the word out to veterans, and I'm also the volunteer coordinator, volunteer liaison, volunteer something, I don't know what all. But Patsy is one of my lead volunteers, and Patsy helps organize things pre-flight and flight specific. I have another lead volunteer who helps organize the volunteers for all of the things that we do, such as the meal call, packing the backpacks and things like that. Before I go any further, have any of you been down to Springfield at the airport when we come back from Washington?
Been on a long when we come back.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm gonna tell you, you just gotta do it. You gotta come down sometime and just see what happens. All right, so in the beginning, we start making phone calls. Patsy has printed off a list of, we start with about 100 veterans. We have a specific call list of volunteers who've been trained on how to call these veterans, but also how to answer specific questions. We don't want, obviously, the wrong information going out. So there are specific volunteers who are trained on how to answer specific questions. If it's outside that realm, we ask them just to call the office and get a clarification on a question they might have that's not covered. So we'll burn through that first 100 names because maybe a veteran is ill at the time, undergoing some medical treatments or whatever, and says, sorry, I can't go on the May flight, can you put me on the next one? We do, we move them down. So then we work our way down. And we'll have about 12 different volunteers making those phone calls to different veterans. And it'll take us a couple weeks, yeah, to get through just to 81. Now, some veterans will have a family member serve as their guardian. Every veteran is going to have a guardian this trip. So if it's a family member, the family member goes online or fills out one of the applications, paper applications, and submits that to us along with a $500 fee. Next year it's gonna go up to $600. Sounds a little steep? Well, you'll understand why here in just a second. If it's a family member, then we've already got them paired. We know who's going to be the guardian for that particular veteran. If that veteran doesn't have a family member who is going to go with them as their guardian, we also have folks just like you guys who sign up to serve as a guardian. After all the veterans have been called and we've got that list pretty firm, we start notifying guardians. Even if it's a family member, we'll get a hold of that family member and say, there are duties, there are meetings coming up, we'll need you to attend to. Then we start calling other folks who have volunteered to be a guardian and notify them that this is their flight. Go ahead and send in your fee, and here's the next date that we're gonna have a training session, a briefing was what we call it. And lo and behold, we've got 81 veterans, 81 guardians, and we're on our way to getting this thing off the ground. Now, the $500, it raises about 1/3 of the money that it takes to send a flight to Washington. Right now, our average costs are from $165,000 to $180,000 per flight. And so we're obviously in fundraising mode every day of the year. We had a Eastern Star group that came and made a check presentation today. It was a couple $1,000. And at first it's only $3,000. But we were telling them, hey, every dime counts because they all add up. It's tremendous. And these things here We, not these quilts, but we have what's called a gala at the end of the year. And we're gonna have a couple of quilts that'll be, at the gala for our fundraiser. We hope that that fundraiser will raise around $85,000. But you can see, that's still only half the cost of a normal flight. The only variances that we end up having on our flights usually is if there's fuel surcharges. And you never know when that's gonna happen, so sometimes you'll lock in a flight and you think we're getting by with 165 or 170,000, and then after the flight, they say, oh, by the way, there was a $10,000 fuel charge on this one. So you gotta turn around and you gotta keep fundraising and keep fundraising. So, anyway, back to the flight. We have what's called a briefing day, and that's when, and we do this out of the airport. The veterans all come in and they check in, all the guardians come in and they check in, and we have a day where we explain to them what we're going to do that day in Washington. The veterans who haven't met their guardians yet meet their guardian for the first time. And we just did that Sunday, because our next flight is now 9 days away. And so they'll be communicating with each other, just kind of figure out who they are and things like that. Get to know them just a little bit before they get on a plane and spend a whole day with them in Washington. Our typical morning for us volunteers, starts around midnight. And we get to the airport, gets things set up for check-in, for breakfast, because we'll also serve the breakfast as we're getting onto the plane. But the volunteers will all have all the tables ready, the caps, everything that they're gonna get for that flight that day. We'll have a short briefing, they get their lanyards. Once we land, there's 4 buses. Each bus has a color, a green, a blue, a red, and white. And so then your lanyard, if it's a white lanyard, you're gonna get on the white bus. Everybody on that bus has a white lanyard. Everyone who's gonna get on the green bus has a green. Staff like myself, we have 2 positions. One is a bus captain, and one is a bus lieutenant. We are responsible for those people on our bus, making sure that they get off the bus, they get back on the bus before we go to the next spot. But our briefing starts that morning, 3:30-ish? 3:30. Oh, that's right, we do roll call at 3. And then, here's the thing, we just changed airports that we go to. We used to go to Reagan, now we're going to Dulles this year. So that's kind of thrown our time off just a little bit. So we start a little earlier than we used to. So we get on the plane, we land in DC, and now they put us on people movers and they take us from the plane to the terminal, and then we get on our buses and go. And usually, excuse me, one of the first places here's a normal itinerary, okay? We'll go to the World War II Memorial. Have any of you been to World War II? Okay. Impressive, extremely impressive. But it's one of the best places to do a photo of a large group like that. Because you have 180 people and you're trying to get them all into one photo. And we have it down to a science. We have so that the photo is framed by 2 fountains, 2 large fountains, so everyone's in between there. From there, we go to Lincoln. From Lincoln, then we let everyone kind of take their time, go to the wall, go to some of the other memorials that are right there in that area. And we have our lunches there too. And we have our lunch. Normally, that lunch is so big that everybody only eats about half of it. We do, from there we go to, well, we've been going to Air Force, but if you haven't heard, Arlington has to expand. months and months and months in advance. We sign up to be there at the changing of the guard. So every flight that we do, we are there to experience the changing of the guard. Knowing that it's an honor flight group that's coming, there's a section that's cordoned off for our group. And it's just strictly the veterans. And all the guardians step back, go up on the steps and watch. And the guards always acknowledge our group when they're there. After that, then we go to Iwo Jima, and from Iwo Jima, then we get back on the buses and we're headed back to the airport. And coming back, it used to be that we didn't get here till almost 10 o'clock at night. This last flight, like I said, with everything's being rearranged, we were able to get home by 7:30. And there was a large crowd there waiting for our group to be playing. Well, there are a couple of us that have some connections. And we get around in Washington because we get a police escort. Not every group gets that. And so we are able to get down Pennsylvania Avenue, we're able to get down just about any street that we need to get down as if we were in a motorcade. And had that little seal on the flag, and it just zipped right through. And yes, we have some connections up there that help provide us with that special escort. Like I said, not every honor flight gets that kind of treatment.
Oh, wow, because the one I saw had fantastic escort.
Now, one of the other programs that we provide, Patsy's going to tell you about, and it is directed especially to those who are no longer with us, but wanted to go, the family would like to have them honored in such a way, or let's say a veteran is unable to fly any longer and really, really, truly wanted to go and might even be on our list to go, then we have another program so they get to go, but in a different way.
I had a question.
Yes?
Have they finished that ramp going up to the Lincoln Memorial?
No.
I was out there in March and I saw them working on it, so didn't know.
No, it's a mess.
Okay.
Who provides the lunch?
We contract, it's a gentleman who owns one of the Arby's, and, but there are a couple of different restaurants there that will contract with honor flight groups. And so, I mean, we've had everything from pies that are like this to large sandwiches, huge sandwiches. He never skips on the food, but he's very good catering for us. Yes, ma'am.
When you're talking about buses, now are those special buses so
Regular?
that they can handle wheelchairs
You
or?
bet, you bet. We take on an average 40 wheelchairs because private wheelchairs are not allowed to go. So we we own that many, and so we take, we keep them at the airport. They load them for us in the belly of the plane, and so we have them there just in case. We always take more than
You
we
think
know.
you're gonna need.
Yes, because at the end of the day, some of those guys are just really tuckered out.
Yes, I believe you.
Yeah, us too.
I have another question. What airline are you using?
We privately contract Sun Country. I would say more about, nothing against Sun Country, but I would tell you why if there wasn't a recorder going. But no, we contract with Sun Country. They come from Minneapolis down with a plane. We use that plane. We go all the way to DC. They sit there and wait for us all day long.
Wow.
Come back, bring us back, and go back to Minneapolis. And we're able to afford that over
Oh, I'm
others.
sure, yeah. That's cool.
That's as far as I'll go. some veterans photo right here, okay? We forgot to bring them.
I forgot to bring them. It's been crazy. I'm Patsy and I'm been a volunteer for 11 years or more with Honor Flight. So, somehow I just keep inheriting more jobs. I don't know how, but I do. But anyway, honoring yesterday's heroes is the name of this program that we do. We've brought some applications you can apply for. What we do is if you have a family member deceased, you fill out this one-page little application. You tell me what branch he was in, where you want to take the picture at any of the memorials that we go to. And then I take and set it up just like this. That's why I wanted to bring it. And then we take a picture of that. When we come home, we take a picture of that picture. We have that picture developed. And then we give you a certificate also with your original picture back, plus the one we take. And that gives you the date that we did this in DC. And I didn't get to do it in May because it was raining. So I have about 14, 15 of them to do on this one. That's why I get to fly so much. We created me a job. But it's a good job and I love it. I really do. The photographer most of the time has taken the pictures for us while he's there. This time I have taken another helper, which is going to help with the flight also. But, so we will be taking pictures at probably every stop that we make. We even have one this time from Iraq that was killed over there, a young man. And I think we're gonna take it at Arlington because we don't have a memorial for that. He's in the Army, but I really didn't wanna do it at World War II. So we think we're gonna do that one at Arlington and try it. His father is actually on this flight, so I'm actually gonna take a picture with him with the picture. So there's a lot of little things I can do when they're not listening. And they're busy and they're not looking. I have two brothers going on this flight. They gave me their brother's picture, and I'm gonna make sure they get a picture with their brother. So there's a lot of things we can do. So, any other questions on this? Anybody qualifies, man or woman, if you serve, and like you said, if they cannot fly for any reason, or they deceased, you let me know and get me an 8x10 picture and we will get them on a flight. I love doing it. That's almost my, well, I got two favorites. Can I tell them about mail call? Okay.
Please, tell me about everything.
Oh, well, I didn't know if he was done yet,
Oh,
or if he was just,
I thought you were pointing at me, I was saying, you tell everything.
or if he was just wanting to take a break.
Patsy met Audrey and myself in Buffalo, and it was so interesting to sit there and listen to her talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just keep on talking.
Well, we do a program called Mail Call. And that's another one I got thrown into very early in the program. I had nothing, didn't know nothing. So I learned. But anyway, for Mail Call, it's like they were in the service. They get a packet of mail, maybe once a week or whatever. So what we do, once we know the veteran's on the plane going, then we have their emergency contacts. We call them and tell them about Mail Call. Mail Call is you write a letter, you can make a card, you can draw a picture. We don't care. We don't care. It's the little kids drawing pictures, which they love. We reach out to schools, we reach out to anybody, churches, whatever, any group, you guys even. The other day I got 6 boxes of cards delivered to the office, and some of them, they're all homemade. Some of them were written on, some of them were just homemade cards to give away to somebody else to write and bring it back. It doesn't have to be to any specific veteran. We call it generic. So after we sort out all the family mail that comes in, then we have generic mail. So then we pass that around to make the envelope thicker. I give them a 10 by 12 or something like that, big envelope with their name on it. So every veteran then they sit on the plane, some of them will read them, some of them will start crying, they won't read anymore, some of them will read it all. So it's a fun thing to watch them with their mail, because they'll think, nobody sent me a letter, but every veteran gets a mail call.
Nancy, on the memorial one, and the form that you need to fill out, how do people obtain that form?
You can get it online, and we brought some, paperwork tonight, and it has a square. If not, you can go online, and print it off, called Honoring Yesterday's Heroes, and then, send it in when you send in the picture. And hope it says 8x10, if not, make them an 8x10 if you can. It doesn't even have to be in a uniform. As long as you know who it is and I get the paperwork, we're good. So, everything is fun. Questions?
Do the different veterans homes,
Do what?
do the different veterans homes have this available
Yes.
to them? Okay.
Veteran homes, nursing homes, everybody, anybody. Actually, we have 4 on this flight from Mount Vernon. Come, they bring them. We've had them bring them down. They'll even bring them on if they get one. So we get, Mount Vernon is a big one for us, the great one. So, you know, anybody, fill out an application, get them on a flight. We were looking today, I've got this many 90-year-olds, I've got to try to get as many as I can on the flight, and then it goes from there on down. Yes, yeah, it's over a year long, because we only take 81. But it's like you said, I went through 130 trying to get 81 done. I still couldn't get one yesterday. They called and canceled after Sunday, and I had to go find 2 more, so I'm always finding veterans to fill. So it's a never-ending job till the plane leaves. But that's what's fun. Yes.
He was talking about the area that your group encompasses. So it isn't just statewide,
No, it's national-wide.
It's
There's about
nationwide.
130 hubs, we're
Okay.
called a hub. So there's about 130 hubs in the United States. Unfortunately, the hub in Columbia recently closed. So, I don't know why, I can't answer that question, but
lack of volunteers,
They ran out of money.
probably.
it's hard to say. It does take a lot of volunteers. I have a list of 180 volunteers.
And then funding would be the
And
next
funding.
thing.
Sure.
That-
So, St. Louis, Kansas City, and Springfield are trying to help
Okay.
absorb some of that. We're trying to develop a program so that these guys don't necessarily lose their place in line, but yet we also don't, wanna bump someone
So
that's
are
in our
there,
list already.
are there some states then that don't participate or that don't have a program, or, is it?
I think so, I think we're only in 43 states. Don't quote me on that, but it's around 43, 42, something like that. Yes, and the wait list, yeah, our wait list did balloon during COVID because we had so much advertising.
Well, and we didn't fly 6 flights.
And then, yes, and then there were 6 flights we couldn't take because of COVID. So the list grew. On average, we have anywhere from 450 to 600 names on the list. Waiting to go. And I know it sounds crazy at first, but we want that list to continue to expand because that means we're getting the word out and more people know about it, and we will get as many veterans to DC as we possibly can every trip.
Well, and that's why you prioritize according to age, and so
Yeah.
that the ones that, the oldest ones would be going as soon as they could.
Yes,
instead of,
yes.
Age and health first is the 2 things.
Would
Yes,
it
ma'am.
be federal or state money?
No,
Nope.
strictly, yes, we operate strictly off of donations.
Okay. When will they get their quilt?
I'm sure.
As they come off the plane,
As they come off?
yes, there should,
There's these out there that
I think on Facebook, we have, from the last flight, it shows as the veterans are coming off the plane, they get a quilt and they get a rose. And depending on which dignitaries are there, I can take, Mike Parsons was there every flight. The governor was always there. The new governor, I don't know if he has our flight schedule yet. He does, or his office knows, and they're trying to work it in. Usually we have a state representative, the mayor. We usually have a series of dignitaries there to make sure that the veterans know how much they can appreciate, not just from us, but from those who are elected to be there. So yes, they make it a point. Yes, ma'am.
So when you guys were in Washington DC, is traffic stopped and
And we make our motorcade through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so, cause my husband went through Columbia 18 or 19. And they had to take buses from Columbia to St. Louis. That may be another reason they don't have funding anymore. But, so you do everything at the airport?
Right.
That's where all the veterans meet before flight? Cause
Yeah.
in Columbia, they met like at midnight to have their breakfast, and then they got on the plane. So, is there a military guard or anything that is there when they take off and come off the planes? Or
Here in
Patriot
Springfield, what
Guard
we
or
do
what
is
is-
we have the junior ROTC.
Okay,
We have different groups. We have police, fire, sheriff's department, highway patrol,
oh, awesome.
forming a line along with
Awesome.
the general public.
Awesome.
Same way when we deplane it in the evening,
Mhm.
those folks are outside in the general aviation area,
Mhm.
whereas the dignitaries and this is done right
Inside.
off the ramp
Okay.
as soon as they get off the plane.
Awesome.
The
Well, I will say, if any of you have husbands or children or anything that haven't done the flight and are eligible, I encourage you to do it, because it was life-changing for my husband.
It is.
And they didn't want family members to fly with the veterans.
We don't have, well, let me put it this way, a spouse is not a guardian.
Oh, okay, okay,
It can be a child, it could be one generation.
okay. They really discouraged that because they wanted the veterans to have a unique personal experience, and they felt that they would not be as open
True,
if they had family members with them.
right, you
So-
would not be a guardian to your husband. It
But
would-
we encourage other family members,
Okay,
children, grandkids, whatever.
Yes,
We encourage that because it makes a world of difference.
yeah,
we are starting to get more grandchildren,
Yeah.
to do this, which is really, really neat.
oh, yeah.
Passengers tell us that they can't afford to go, but they really wanna go, that, is there funds to help them out, like,
Sometimes, and sometimes if you get like a lodge group, maybe an Elks or VFW or something like that, to sponsor one. I've got two right now that's doing that. So, yeah, there's ways out there.
This coming flight, you said in 9 days, so it leaves when and comes back when?
The 13th,
Next Wednesday.
next Wednesday, yes, whatever that is.
So it leaves on the 13th and comes back
That night.
That night.
that night?
Monday.
That's why our day starts at midnight.
Our day starts.
Our day starts at midnight.
now, the quotes that we all made, or all did, they're not going in the August, they went in
Right.
May, we did the 80 in May, and now we've got 80 some that'll be going in October,
Right.
plus we're starting now in 2026, because we're gonna be committed to 2 flights. We have all committed. We all committed here in 2026. We all did that, you know, so we've all committed to 2026 to 2 flights, one in May and one in October, so we have a little bit of time here. But now, who was the other quilt deal that did the one for August?
They're up at Waynesville.
Waynesville,
Oh,
okay, I was
okay,
thinking,
There's a big,
What's
there's
the difference?
several little
It's
groups
between
like you
Columbia.
that have got together, they got the word, they heard about it, and all of a sudden, they called me, said, we wanna do this, and I said, between the two of you, I think this'll work. So they're doing August, they've already dropped them off at the office, and, we'll take them out to the airport Tuesday night when we take everything else out. And they will be there when they get off the plane.
Were they well received? Were the quilts?
Oh my gosh, they were so surprised, and yes, they loved
Because
it.
you've never done the quilts in Springfield.
Our very first